Prejudice is often considered as a matter of race, socioeconomic status, ethnicity, or maybe even sexual orientation. But that definition is incomplete. Prejudice is simply a mind that snaps shut because a person has prejudged something and is unwilling to consider another possible idea about it. This is Beth Wee in the Koinonia Kitchen, and I want to talk to you today about step 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. You know, why am I talking about prejudice? Because I'll tell you what, the biggest dilemma of someone who needs a new way of living are their old ideas. Those old ideas hold us back. And without a new way of living, our old ideas are going to kill us. You know, we need to do a few things if we want to start looking at a new way to live with the help of the 12 steps. The first thing, we have to lay aside any prejudgment, any prejudice before you have your own personal experience with it. Don't assume just because other people have an experience you haven't had that it's not real or that it's not true. We're going to talk about a higher power. We're going to talk about God. Be relieved because it's your own understanding of God. We're going to have to admit that it's possible that a higher power can give you power and direction. Can you admit that? It's possible. And if you're saying, no, I can't admit that, then I'm going back to that definition of prejudice. Are you prejudging something, and are you unwilling to consider another possible idea? You can ask the question, what does this mean to me? This is not a premise to study and master as an academic. This is the actual opening of your mind and allowing yourself to come out of isolation and look at the world from a different stance. Even if you don't believe, can you be willing to consider belief? That's all we're asking. Can you consider belief? Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. I have to tell you, I believe the belief in God is a free gift. Ask to receive it. Ask. Just say, if I need this, could I please have it? And see what happens. And then stop fighting its arrival. Don't question the seemingly unrelated or random occurrences that start to come along. Notice the new people moving into your circle and those that are being moved out. Allow the higher power to prove itself to you. Because if you don't, you're going to be stuck in that addiction, in that compulsive behavior, in that way of life that is dead set on killing you. Maybe you're belligerent. Okay. I have to believe in a higher power to overcome this? No, I say no. And I ask you this, if you want a new life, what are you coming out of? What is your life like right now? Your old life will become a new life. That's what I'm asking for you. Your fear, it might become faith. It might become love. Fear will change into a new thing, a new spiritual entity that helps you have a good day. The closed mind goes to an open mind. The self-centered, yeah, believe it or not, it'll go to other-centered or God-centered. The belligerent one is the one who makes it possible that we can realize that these are suggestions, not orders. And you can take it a little bit at a time. You don't have to swallow all of this at once. Just keep an open mind. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. You know, there's a lot of acronyms for God that have helped people along the years. GOD, good orderly direction. That's the decision to work the 12 steps. Group of drunks. If you're fighting with alcoholism, the collective success of Alcoholics Anonymous might be the group of drunks that helps you. God, gift of desperation. That surrender because you have nowhere else to go. Nobody else wants you. Nobody else can help you. You've been through how many rehabs? You've done so many different diets. You've done this, that, and the other, trying to control this yourself. That's the gift of desperation. Give up and look to the God. For some people, it's the great outdoors. Seeing the power and grandeur of the creation. That might hook you up with a higher power. The gift of the open mind most usually will follow honesty. And it comes right before willingness. So don't worry. The willingness will come. Just open your mind to the possibility. You'll come to a turning point. And it's kind of funny. You'll stop arguing at that point. And when you stop arguing, you're going to begin to see and feel. They promise that to us. But you're still struggling with the idea of a higher power? Well, then make a collective group that have overcome whatever it is you're facing, the higher power for right now. To move forward, you have to come to believe that a power greater than yourself could restore you to sanity. I'll give you an example. If you're an alcoholic and you're seeking recovery, go to an AA meeting where you go to the regular group and you see a group of people that don't drink anymore. And yet they used to drink the way you did because you can tell by their stories. That could be a power greater than yourself to get you started. Maybe I'm not talking to you. Maybe you're the guy who was full of faith and you lost your faith. Maybe that's the problem for you. Now you're indifferent. You're self-sufficient. You have a prejudice against anything that sounds religious. You're defiant because God didn't deliver when you believed. So this is one of the hardest spots to be in when you're seeking a new way of life, when you're seeking to become whole, because you have profound confusion. I promise you, just commit to working the 12 steps. Don't give up until you get through all 12 of the steps. If this is you, if this is where you're standing with the idea of the higher power, open your mind to finish the 12 steps. Because you might not have rejected faith. You rejected religion. And faith is between you and God, but religion is a man-made created thing. It gets fouled up just because we get our human hands on it. But God, that's a relationship. Go there. What if you believe that knowledge is the power, but you're still getting your butt kicked by your addiction or by your compulsive behavior? You read about it, you tried mind control, you assessed your situation, but you keep falling back into it. Your pride and belief in your ability to master the problems will separate you from the group because the God of knowledge is bigger. How do you recover if that's where you're at? I think you have to look at the fact that your addiction or your compulsive behavior is a stronger force than your intellect. I'm telling you, you're not just dealing with your mental self. There's physical and spiritual defeat dragging you down and dragging that mighty intellect with it. I'm asking you, this is a hard one for you. Become teachable. Let humility lead your other talents, even your intellect, for a time. It's time to get right-sized. Just accurately assess yourself. I'm really smart, but I can't fix this, and I need to try something new. I know that you're capable in so many areas, but find the honesty you need to admit defeat. Humility and intellect can be compatible, but humility has to come first. Okay, maybe you're just disgusted with religion and the people that follow it, and you only look at the failures, you puff yourself up and compare yourselves with them all the time. I gotta remind you what I said at the beginning. Comparison among people groups is going to separate. You have to find what is the same. Identify. Don't compare. Don't stand on the outside and point at their brokenness to feed your ego. When you do that, you close your mind to joining them, and they may be the ones that have the solution you need. You got to open your mind to the positive value of a spiritual life. The open mind is not a lack of direction, but a direction in itself. It's not a lack of conviction. It's a conviction in itself. If you're self-righteous, you got a phony form of respectability. You need to give it a new shot. Defiance is what we're talking about here, guys. We ask God for stuff, we don't get it, so we defy God. Defiance becomes unraveled when you work the 12 steps. Defiance is a characteristic of addiction and compulsive behavior. Anybody seeking recovery must learn to rely on a higher power instead of defy the higher power. Okay, so maybe you're not any of these people I'm talking to. Maybe you're the guy that is full of faith, but you cannot put your substance or your compulsive behavior down. And I'm here to tell you that according to the literature of 12-step, your problem here is not the quantity of your faith, but the quality of your faith. During a horrendous storm, what flashlight do you want? Do you want the one you purchased at Quickie Mart or the Black & Decker you picked up at the Home Depot and dropped $30 for? Faith is the same. Don't settle for a faith that lacks true power, especially for the storms in life. Sometimes the cheap flashlight shines brightly in the moment of the purchase, but it lacks the strength to endure the dark night of the storm. In the same way, sometimes religious feeling comes in the moment of heavy emotion. And though this is exciting, don't confuse this with true relationship with a higher power. Faith is the belief that great help is available if we admit we need it and seek it. To find enduring faith, we're going to have to take action. The emotions that come aren't going to get us through. We need to take action. We need to clean house and ask that this obsession be lifted. And we can't clean house without a strong faith. They say that it's grace that restores us to sanity, but what is grace? My brother Jim gave me a little handout that he got somewhere, and it had 3 definitions. Justice, you get what you deserve. Some people believe that the higher power is just. And then mercy, you don't get what you deserve. Oh, so some people believe that the higher power is merciful. But grace, you get what you don't deserve. That's the higher power, you guys. You get what you don't deserve. You don't have to earn this. The higher power is willing to come to your aid. You just have to ask. They say that Einstein made the declaration that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I kind of found that he didn't say that, but it's a great quote, so we're just going to put it out there anyway. But what they say in 12-step is think, think, think. Your first think is probably going to be demented and self-centered and alcoholic or addicted. Your second think, it's the moment of clarity. That's the turning point where you can ask God to be restored to sanity. And the third think, a new idea on how to proceed, maybe using spiritual principles as a guide. You know what? During this process, you're going to have a lot come to you. You're going to emerge to new life stances. You might be judgmental now, you'll become tolerant. You might be angry, you'll become forgiving. You might be thinking all the time and you'll start to feel a little more. Or maybe you think you're a nobody and you're going to become a somebody. These changes are some of the ones that have been identified by people in a step study group looking at step 2. Add your own to the list, because if you can come to believe that a power greater than yourself can restore you to sanity, you have a shot at a really great life. It's time to take addiction out of the shadows and shine the encouraging light of recovery on everyone affected. Good Seed Podcast is powered by BethWE.com, a nonprofit ministry based in Vero Beach, Florida. We'll start the uncomfortable conversations that turn despair into hope and complacency into action. Connect, communicate, and thrive with us. Check us out online at BethWE.com. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk again soon.